UFC 322 is looking to be one of the best fucking cards ever. This card is absolutely stacked. I'm going to run through it today, and we're going to talk about the fight nights coming up in the UFC. Got a new mic, so we're gonna see how this plays out. But it's a lot more station, which is nice. But UFC 322, before actually I get into this, the channel has been doing so well lately. I've gotten like 100 something subs the last couple of days. The channel is popping. I'm getting way more engagement, likes. If you are watching this for the first time, if you are, watching it consistently and, maybe aren't subscribed, I'm trying to get to 1K and I'm trying to get to 1K before the end of the year. So please, please, please hit the subscribe, hit the like, comment, engage. I fucking love reading comments. I really, really fucking do. Enough of that soppy shit. We'll save it for the 1K special. But JDM versus Makhachev, Zhang Weili versus Valentina Shevchenko. I must say, this might be the only WMA fight I'm actually like really intrigued and looking forward to. Sean Brady, Michael Morales, Bo Nickel, yeah, whatever. Leon Edwards, my guy, Carlos Prates, Benil Dariush, Benoit Saint Denis, Kopylov versus Robocop is on here, and Aaron Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez will be a fun watch. Wellmaker, Gerald Mercer versus Kyle Dawkins. This card is just unbelievably stacked, and I'm so hyped for it. But there's obviously main event. Obviously, the main event is just crucial in the landscape of MMA. And I saw Makhachev call out to Furia today. I'm not a big fan of that. Not that he called him out, but he was kind of saying maybe we can do it at the White House. I don't like fighters calling out other fighters when you have a fight booked. Like, focus on your fight, okay? Focus on your fight, because we've seen that shit go south. We've seen that shit go south numerous times, okay? I'm still picking JDM. I don't want to go too much into this because the card is like 3 weeks away, so I'm going to do a full breakdown on it. But I'll talk about it briefly. There's two ways I can kind of see this going. I think Makhachev could go in there and do a bit of an Oliveira on it. When he fought Oliveira, to where I was like, no way, Makhachev wins that. JDM might just not have the skill of the lighter man. As Lucas Tracy said, lighter man's skill, being mediocre. He's going to take it to fucking, what the fuck does he say? Peaches and Creamville or some shit like that. Cobble Wobble Stones. I know all the Lucas Tracy goes. I've been watching him since TikTok. But I feel like JDM might go in there and just be a little bit behind as well. But I'm confident from what I saw in the Bilal Muhammad fight that JDM is going to be able to keep it standing. And if it's a standing fight, you know what it is? I think it's a lot more even than people think. I think Makhachev's striking is criminally underrated. I really like his high kicks. I think they're going to be crucial in this fight. Maybe in Islam Makhachev head kick KO and Volkanovski, but I think Makhachev's head kick is really underrated. I think Makhachev is just an underrated striker. Obviously, JDM's got the striking advantage. Obviously, Makhachev's got the wrestling advantage. But I cannot say this enough, and until this fight is over, both of these guys' weakness, they are really good. They're really good. Islam Makhachev's striking is really good. Jack Della Maddalena's wrestling is really good. They're both really good at the opposite. So this could be a cancellation. They just go to war on the feet. We've seen Makhachev go to war. I like Makhachev. He's probably my he's obviously Leon Edwards is my kind of favorite fighter ever. I don't like saying that too loud, but he kind of is. But right now, I just think Makhachev is probably the person I'm rooting for the most in the sport. Tom Aspinall was up there. But I think Makhachev's like my most rooted fight for in the sport at the moment. So I really want to see him win. And I think he can get this done, man. I think he can get this done. It's going to be an interesting one. It's just like, this card is so good. But then we get to this. And then we get to this. Steve Garcia versus David Anoma. And I would say a top 20 least anticipated fight nights of all card. Waldo Cortez Acosta. Like, does anybody want to see Steve Garcia and David Anoma in a main event? I'd rather just be no UFC than this on, if I'm being honest with you. Like, it's just completely pointless. Like, it's not even the worst. I know it is kind of, up there. Isaac, I've chatted him on the DMs, actually. There's just fucking no fucking name value. Do you know what I mean? Like, 3 and 4 in the women's bantamweight division are fighting on the fucking prelim. Number 4 in the women's bantamweight are fighting on the prelims. Phil Rowe, why are you so low down that card? But, like, I can't be the only one that just has no interest in this fight. I'm not going to sit here and fake interest and say, this is a great card, MMA fans just don't know what they're watching. It's really not. It's just really not. And if you look at the way 322 is so stacked compared to this, The Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates fight, very intrigued. Very, very intrigued. Sean Brady's up there as well. I'm liking Sean Brady. I'm liking Sean Brady a lot in the welterweight division. I'm gonna quickly pop back over to the other thing. One sec. Sean Brady versus Mike Morales. Very interesting fight. Very interesting fight. I'm gonna be picking Brady. Obviously, I think Brady's grappling has been just absolutely elite. I think the way he shut down Leon Edwards in London is something special. It's something we need to behold. If I'm being honest with you, this guy's the best wrestler in 170. I thought JDM was going to beat him. I don't think JDM is going to beat him whenever they fight. Ian Gary's up there as well. I think Brady would beat Ian Gary quite convincingly. So the whole division is stacked. And then we have like, actually, I'm going to make a bit of an announcement here. Arman Sarukian versus Dan Hooker. I will actually be at this fight. I'm flying to Qatar to witness this fight. I just said fuck it, man. I just said fuck it. I've never been outside of Europe, so I just said to myself, what a better time than ever to go to the Middle East and just go to a UFC. It's fucking expensive. It cost me a lot of fucking money, but it's gonna be worth it. I'm gonna, film a bunch of content and shit, so it's gonna be class. But Sarukian versus Hooker is there. The UFC is looking really good. The UFC is, we need to get through this fucking next two cards. Because the next two cards are fucking brutally shit. And then when we get to Makachev, the ball kind of rolls. And, the end of the year card is very good, but it's just missing that real name value. Do you know what I mean? That Paddy Pimblett or the Yan versus Marab too is cool and all, but I think we all know who's going to win. That's the only problem that I have with that fight. But apart from that, the UFC is great. The UFC is fucking amazing. I love the UFC so much, bro. I love the UFC so much. And like when it's not doing well or a lot of people are complaining about the UFC or the fights just aren't being made, it can be very hard. It can be very fucking hard to sit there and defend the UFC and it makes me depressed whenever the UFC is doing shit. The last year and a half as a UFC fan has been absolutely horrific. Fucking horrific. Okay, I remember the 2020, what was it? 2023. 2023 was just no, not 2023, sorry. 2024 was the worst year to be a UFC fan. I believe ever. Ever in the whole company's history, 2024 was the worst year to be a UFC fan. It was fucking awful. 2025 has been very good, I must say. 2025 has been good. But 2024 was just absolutely horrific. And I will never forget how shit the UFC was. And there was no big names fighting. There was no mega fights. And Arman pulls out the first card of the year, kind of just set the fucking example. If you pull out when I'm in fucking Qatar, I'm going to hunt you down, Arman. Don't make no mistake about it. But it just set an example to it. The whole year was just fucking, Tom Aspinall, John Jones situation. Jones ended up fighting Stipe, and we had a Manchester card, but then it was at 4 a.m. And even fighters like Arnold Allen were fighting. Holloway wasn't really, Holloway did fight, in fairness, twice that year. 300 was unbelievable. 300 was unbelievable. 299 was unreal as well. 298 was good. That kind of month, those kind of 2 months were very good. But apart from that, the whole Jones Aspinall situation dragged on far longer than it had to. It just was a really shit year to be a UFC fan, but this year's been very good. And the way the UFC are ending the year, I must say they've really put on a show here. This card is very good. The Makachev JDM fight is going to be unbelievable. It's just good, man. It's just good to finally see the UFC back again. And I just, bro, I'm gonna save it all for the 1K, but I'm trying to make this happen, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.